Alrighty, well that went through fast. Sometimes there's a delay when it goes live and when it doesn't go live. So obviously we're going to be talking about Atomic Habits. This is going to be actually the second time I'm going to be talking about it. So if you guys have any questions, leave it in the bracket, the comments, and I'm going to be able to respond after the video. I think the biggest thing with Atomic Habits the first time around is that I was listening to it on Audible. I was listening to his interviews, and he's good in his interviews. He's good on Audible. But there is just something about getting the physical copy that it just resonates with me. It just really just, it goes into my cells. It goes into my being. And then when I see the words, I'm able to contemplate it, because when I'm listening to it as an Audible, I'm getting the input, but I'm not able to have the original thought. When I'm reading it, I'm saying it aloud in my brain. So it's really just cultivating just what he's saying and the awareness, and it's just a lot better. Honestly, I've tried Kindle, iPad, Audible. I've tried physical books. I'm only going to be reading physical books. Yes, there are times that I'm going to be doing, say, running on the treadmill, and all I do when I'm Ironman training is just listening to my boy David Goggins in Can't Hurt Me. It's probably the 16th to 20th time that I've listened to it, but this second time around, so if you missed the first part, I'm not going to link it in the comments below, so just go find it on the, the book review playlist. But you can see that I put a bunch of things that really stuck out this time around that I didn't get either on Audible or whatnot. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these things, and then I'm going to end on the high level meta picture on who you are, the intention that you want to become, in other words, your identity. And then from there, how you're going to be able to cultivate that into the real world. Okay, this isn't going to be anything that is mind-blowing. This isn't going to be anything earth-shattering or any other cliche you could think of. But this is literally just the mini things that we do. The time that we pick up the phone when we shouldn't be. The time that we check our email when we should be making prospecting calls. The time that we say, no, I'm not going to approach that pretty girl or ask that guy out or study on the test or pick up the video game controller or drink one more drink of alcohol, is literally the mini decisions. We don't think it's big when I go to Amazon instead of go to my CRM, my customer relationship manager, or check my email instead of going, I don't know, on YouTube and checking comments or a new video. And I got to tell you, from this book, this is one of probably 2 5 out of 5 star books that I've given ever. Okay, obviously, I needed this book. I was in a place that it was all right. The place that I was in. In other words, I was dialing in my health. I was dialing in my business. I was dialing in my relationships. But I just wasn't optimizing to my true self. And I'll be actually talking about that a little bit further. So this is the book that I'm reading right now, The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's thick. It doesn't look that thick, but it's pretty healthy when it comes down to it. I'm also reading his other ones, which is Change Your Something, Change Your Life. Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. That one is really thick and bigger, and we're talking about the book. And that's at home on my nightstand. That's what I read before I go to bed. So I'm really connecting everything from habits to what's my higher purpose, why am I here, because I just feel that mentally, that Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, in just and Cal Newport also wrote Deep Work, that is going to be everyone's just sole intention. So just listen to the ones that I actually marked off in the book. So he talks a lot about identity, and he kind of goes into the very Simon Sinek, who wrote Leaders Eat Last and The Power of Why. And Simon Sinek essentially has the circles. Okay, so the circle and the inner circle is why you do something. Then it's how you do it, and then what you do. Okay, so it's the deep inner personal. And to James Clear, the author of this, is that's your identity. Okay, Okay, so let's just break that apart real quick, because a lot of people say, I identify as, I don't know, someone blah, blah, blah. They insert it. Identity means on habits that you want to change. It's not who you are, it's the habits that you want to become. So if you want to become a blog writer or an author or a YouTuber or someone that's very smart, that's the identity that I'm talking about, is that as you study, as you write, you say to yourself, I'm a writer. I am, if you go to the gym a lot, I am a fit person, and then you live into that by how long you sleep, what's your recovery, how intense you go to the gym, what you eat, what you know, who you are. So let's just go into this. So this is really where it came together. So I'm just going to read a little portion of the book. Habits can help you achieve all the things that you want, but fundamentally, they're not about having something. It's all about becoming someone. Ultimately, your habits matter because they help you become the type of person you wish to be. Quite literally, you become your habits, okay? And we could break that down to mini habits, okay? Are you the person that wakes up early? Are you the person, the minor little things? I'm the person that checks my phone. I'm the person that checks my email. I'm the person that gets back to my client within a minute. That is who you are becoming. But on that's on the micro level, but those compound and add up to the macro level, and the macro level is great, but you're not actually producing any new business. Great, but you're not actually expanding your wealth. Great, you're going on Amazon, but you're not actually saving money. That's fantastic. So essentially, you have to look at each little thing and have the self-awareness. I am now checking my phone instead of whatever else you should be doing. And essentially, it's really who you wish you want to become. And then you reverse engineer and you say, okay, what habits do I need to actually include into my life? Moving on. So if history serves ourselves, the opportunities of the future will be more attractive than those are today. The trend is always for rewards to become more concentrated and stimuli to become more enticing. Junk food is a more concentrated form of calories. Hard liquor is a more concentrated form than alcohol. Video games is a more concentrated form of play. If you think about it and you look at our ancestors, play was talking in person around a fire. Now it's video games by yourself. Calories was discovering honey or strawberries or blueberries back millions of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now it's concentrated bars of junk food, okay? Our habits have been concentrated to literally what we eat and who we are can be dialed into. We consume more sugar, I think they said. We consume more sugar it was like something, it was like 300 and something pounds a year, on the average person, or like 1,000 pounds, whatever, I don't know. But that was more than 4 times the amount than our ancestors did their entire lifetime. 1 year, we consume more sugar. That's disgusting, all right? What does that do? That keeps you off your game. And then that keeps you dumbed down. All right, moving on. This hit me hard right here, is motion allows us to feel like we're making progress without actually running the risk of failure. So he's saying, yeah, we make the motion, we look up the sneakers and we look up the best gym to go to, but we don't actually go. That's the action, is going. But looking it up, it feels good. I'm making the progress, or I'm moving in the direction of it. Well, yeah, no, I'm learning how to prospect, but I'm not actually prospecting. I'm learning how to network, but I'm not actually networking. I'm learning how to save money, but I'm not actually saving money. Motion versus action. There's a difference. There's a clear difference, okay? So he says you got to make the habits very attractive. Moving on. This was also big. Habits like scrolling through our phones, checking email, and watching TV steal so much of our time because they can be performed without any effort. They are remarkably convenient. So look at all the habits that you have. Every habit that we have is pretty much as easy as we can get. Okay, we look at our phone to alleviate anxiety. We eat food to avoid being uncomfortable or bored. Okay, look at all the habits that we have. He talks about frequency is everything of the habit. Okay, Frequency over time or duration. Do I go to the gym once for 2 hours a week, or do I go 5 times for 20 minutes? 5 times for 20 minutes is going to become a habit. 1 time for 2 hours is not, okay? And this is the last thing I'm going to say about it. Let me just take a sip of water. Has more than a sip. So this is what I got out of it. Between Dr. Wayne Dyer, the new book that I'm reading, obviously James Clear, Power of Habit, Mini Habits, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This is what it really comes down to. And I journaled this. And then I just got, I don't have the book on me right now, it's at home, but these are the 3 things that I've noticed in my life. And the reason that I feel that I'm moving toward something a lot grander than myself. Number 1 is solitude. Okay, solitude is no inputs. Okay, I'm trying to leave my phone at work. I've done it twice in the last 2 days. Yesterday I had to take a live tour at a client's apartment, so I couldn't leave it at work. I left work and I had the appointment at 6:30. Okay, downtown. I want to leave my phone at work. That's solitude. Okay, there's no inputs. Okay, my phone, once I left my client, it was on airplane mode, and that was it. I didn't check it until, I think, 9:10. I want to get to the point where it's 10 a.m. Okay, so solitude by yourself, no inputs. Number 2, during the day, I want to have at least 2 deep work sessions. Okay, that's 60 minutes on, 10, 15 minutes off. 60 minutes on, 10, 15 minutes off, and then the rest of the day, I don't give a shit about. Okay, that will, if I literally compound that, okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is sleep. Okay, sleep has become a massive portion to my recovery, to my mood, to how I think, to what I do the next day, to how energetic and exciting I am. If I don't sleep, then I'm fucked. That's really what it comes down to. I'm cranky, I'm pissed off, I don't go into deep work sessions. So really what you should look at is bookends. So a PM bookend and an AM bookend, okay? So the AM bookend is coming into work, and then PM bookend is going from coming home, going into sleep, and then going into your AM, PM. And they are one, okay? A lot of people, they keep it separate. That's not good. And the reason they keep it separate is they say, I'll look at my phone. No, because that's blue light emitting, that takes down all the melatonin, so your body doesn't know if it should be awake or not. So it keeps it awake because it's blue light, not amber light. I have the blue blocking glasses. My phone's not even around me, but I put on the, forgot what they're called, but you could buy them for like 10 bucks online, and they're amber. Then I have an amber light. So my body thinks, oh, it's the afternoon, I need to go to sleep. I have the lights, the Amazon lights in my life that put me to sleep, okay? What does this have to do with atomic habits? Because if I don't do that, if I eat too late, if I don't get a good night's sleep, my habits are not good the next day. So this is what I journaled. So the first one I talked about before was solitude, okay? This is what I journaled. Or I'm sorry, this is what I'm gonna journal this weekend. I have something called HT. It's a document in my tool browser. I'm looking at my computer right now, and it's HT, which is horse trading. Essentially, I look at all the things I need to do, and as Stephen Covey says, first things first, second things not at all. Okay, so what's the first thing that I need to do? And then everything not at all. Okay, there's a lot of things that have been sitting there for months. I'm never gonna get to them because it's not important. It's easy to do, and it's fun to do, and I really want to do it because I'm going to easily check it off my to-do list, but the problem is it's not a high priority. It's easy, and it's not important. It's nothing, okay? So this weekend I'm going to journal, all right? I already started journaling a little bit, but since the book Lead Yourself First, which it was an all right, kind of book review yesterday. But this is what I noticed from all the leaders, okay, that Eisenhower, Martin Luther King Jr., Jane Goodall, I don't know if it was Robert Lee, they had Pope John Paul II, and essentially they went into solitude. These are grand, huge leader figures that even if you think of like, the Buddha or Christ or someone like that's even bigger than life. You look at, they probably were in solitude most of their life, okay? And they had none of these digital inputs that are around. I'm actually looking for my phone. It's not around, which is thankful. This is what habits come down to, okay? And this is what I'm gonna journal, is who do I wanna be when I'm older, okay? What is my ideal day? What time am I waking up? Who am I surrounded by? What am I doing? And then essentially reverse engineering that all the way to today, and then thinking, while I'm on my phone, I now have the self-awareness that I can click out of an app and say, this isn't bringing me to my highest self. Okay, this isn't bringing me to my ultimate self. Okay, and this is the thing, is if you want to do something by the end of the year, and you're right here, and you say, okay, I want to save $5,000 or $1,000 or whatever the case is. You know, I want to make more money. That's your ultimate goal, okay? You reverse engineer the steps, okay? I need to make at least 5 calls a day, or I need to save at least $50 a week, whatever the case is, all the way to today. The good thing about habits is you already know the identity. I'm a saver. I am someone who is financially free. I'm wealthy. I'm fit. Whatever goal you have at the end is that it needs to become an identity. And it starts today. So you have to be self-aware that your identity is either leading you to who you want to become or not. That's everything. I talked about frequency. I talked about, you know, digital inputs. I talked about AM, PM bookends. I talked about, you know, how often, you know, how much sleep you should have and recovery and things like that. Nothing matters if you still have a shaky foundation on who you want to become here on the ultimate goal, okay? So though Michael Jordan in high school was not the greatest player of all time, he was putting in the work to eventually become. Jerry Rice was putting in the work to eventually become the best receiver. Michael Jordan, the best NBA player. What was he doing along that time? He wasn't here yet, and that's the same thing with us, is that we're not here yet. And by the way, this is always going to be shifting, okay? This is life. But the problem is, if we are not self-aware today on the habits that we're actually doing, we're never gonna reach this person. And then the problem, so this is more of like, okay, I'm getting wealthier, and then that goal gets pushed out. But the problem is, this could also mean I haven't started my habits, so I'm actually the same person as time goes on. It's all about identity. It's who you think you want to be, okay? And as Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about in the book, he talks about your intention. Everything is about intention. So if you and this, I know this book is going to hit me really hard right between the eyes, because what he's talking about is you have your intention. Your intention is, I want to be someone, okay? And this isn't, I want to own a car or a house or whatever. I want to be a great husband, father, boyfriend, girlfriend, great leader, incredible business person, whatever the case is, okay? That's your intention, okay? If you start going the opposite, it's ego, okay? What is she going to think if I go up and I say, you know, hi, how's it going? I really liked your energy. And she says, fuck off, okay? So say she says that, or you ask for business. Someone said, don't ever call me again. Okay, cool, you know. If I take that personally, that's me, not them, okay? They said something in between the response and the stimulus and the response. The stimulus is, don't call me again for business. And the response, there's a gap, okay? And that gap is called agency. And there's a great book out there, The Power of Agency, that I haven't read yet, but a lot of people have been talking about it. And essentially, that's where you think. That's the solitude that they were talking about in Lead Yourself First. That solitude of, you may have screwed up that person underneath me, or that friend, or that husband, that girlfriend, that wife, that business person, that client, whatever. How am I going to respond to it? That stimulus could be like that, and then you respond, and then you regret how you responded, or you put a little bit of time, you meditate on it, you go for on a walk, and then you say, okay, what am I going to do here? And we're not even leading countries or companies that are billions of dollars worth yet. But if we start now putting a little bit of time in between on who we are, how we're going to respond, you know, I'm looking at my phone. I should not be looking at my phone. Let's not look at our phone. All right, so hopefully this helps a little bit. If you guys have any comments, leave in the comments below. Yeah, The Power of Habit is good. This is on drugs. It's the best, it's the top 5, it's probably the top 3 books that I ever read, all right? And in general, it's about the habits. It is not the goal. It is not the money. It is not how big your business is. It is what are you doing right now? Right now. Have the self-awareness that says, my phone needs to be away from me. If it's even around, you're going to be distracted. You can't do multitasking, okay? There is so much misinformation out there, and the problem is when we receive so much digital input, that could be from music walking down the street. That could be from reading our email when we're bored, going on social media, watching too many YouTube videos, checking out the news, politics, commenting, social media. There is so much around, is that when we're not able to go into any kind of solitude, if we can't even understand that I want to become a different person, you're just going to start pushing more and more shit into your life. Why? To feel better. To numb that bland, non-energetic aura that we have around ourselves. I'm in New York City. Walk around New York City. We're supposed to be one of the wealthiest cities in the world. Okay, so does money buy happiness? No, it's who you become that buys you the happiness. Okay, you swiping the credit card for the boat doesn't bring you happiness, but the fact that you're able to work your ass off to buy the boat, or the summer body that you have, it's your ability to work your ass off, okay, to have that summer body, or to have a loving relationship, or to have an incredible dog or company or prospecting call or whatever the case is. I just lost 3 listings, okay? And this is the last thing I'll leave you on. So it was actually 2 of them were lost to the same person. And they smartly went to the owner and they said, ask, and I think that person knows who I am. I don't know if they are or they don't. What's going on, Erwin? How we doing? Elizabeth, thank you for watching. So that guy said to the owners, asked the owners, because the owners asked me the exact same question, totally different owners. They said, you know, how much business have you done? We've never heard of BPI, which is my company. And what is your listing to sale ratio? Okay, I'm very proud of all 3 of those. But the thing is, he works at a large company. So he's able to say, we have all these resources behind us. I haven't come up with an objection that is acceptable enough that they will be willing to sign with me. In person, I can easily conquer it, but I can't actually demonstrate that via text or anything else. So for me, I have to go into a solitude this weekend and say, how am I going to handle this? If I'm going to be calling for sale by owners, and this one guy keeps on telling the owners to ask me these same questions, and I'm not doing anything different, it's not about reading more or anything else. I have to go within and say, okay, if I want to overcome this and start taking listings from him, what do I need to do to ensure that I get that outcome from the owners? Okay, who do I need to become? I want to become one of the top salespeople. I want to become one of the best business people, okay? I have to lead myself first, okay? The problem that I had in the beginning when I started my company is I wanted everyone else to do my things, okay? I already talked about this story, is that when I came home from my first Tony Robbins event, I literally looked at my parents and I'm like, you need to be doing this, you need to be eating like this, you need to be going to sleep like this. But I wasn't. I was expecting them to do that. I was like, you got to listen to these products. I bought $350 worth of products. You have to listen to these 24 CDs. It's like, dude, you're not even doing this. You have to be the leader that is actually doing this, number 1. Number 2 is you have to continuously do this. You also have to put yourself out there, because when the time comes, you're going to have to make the decision. You're going to have to be held accountable. And you can't make that, if there is a problem in your life, bankruptcy, in debt, you know, body, health reasons, whatever, something like that, and you're not able to come up with an outcome, and you're shoving all this information in your brain, and you can't actually go into solitude to become who you want to be, you're done. Be the change that you want in life. From your spouse, from your friends, from your family. That was my problem when I first started BPI, is that I wanted all my agents to prospect, but I wasn't prospecting. I wanted them all to come in early and healthy and eat well when I wasn't even doing that. What the fuck, Charles? Really? You want something different? And then there's so much on my mind, because this is really what it comes down to, is that you look around, okay? This has helped me so much. And you look around and you look at older people and you say, do I want their life at age 35 or 40 or 45 or 50 or 60 or 70 years old? So one of my owners called me yesterday. He has health problems, okay? He's, I think, in his 60s. And I'm thinking, in my mind, I wish him the best. But I also look at myself and I say, do I want to have that life? Do I want to have the health problems, or do I want to take care of it now? I want to take care of it now. So my identity at 65, I'm nowhere near that, okay? That's almost double my age, okay, right now. I look at that and I say, okay, I need to start now. And then I also look at people that are giving me financial statements of, whatever, God bless their heart. I'm not judging them. I'm looking at myself and saying, I want more money when I'm older, or I want to be financially free by this time. Do I really need to spend that money? Do I really need to go out with friends and spend $350 on a dinner? No, because I'm going to be hungover, and I'm not saying always, okay? That's not the point. But what I'm saying is the person that you want to be is going to take a lot of sacrifice. It's going to be very lonely. It's going to be a lot of times that you're not going to feel like being motivated to go to the gym. Okay? Most mornings, I don't feel motivated to go to the gym. Is that shocking? Maybe. I don't know. But most mornings, I don't feel like going. I don't. I sit in bed. It's 5:30, 5 o'clock, sometimes 4:30. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's 4:30, and I sit there and I snooze my alarm, and then I say, got to do it. That's it. I just put myself into motion. I don't feel motivated. It's all about the actual habits that you put in life. The best way to put it is not habits. The best way to put it is what do you do on a daily basis to bring you to where you want to go? Okay, so it's more of a function rather than motivation. Okay, motivation is crap. Marketing is crap. Okay, I already talked about, do you want to take action, or do you want to say, yeah, I'm looking it up. I'm seeing videos on it. I'm seeing how to prospect, how to go to the gym. I'm seeing how to become wealthy. But are you actually putting in the time to actually, that was me for 10 years. You don't want to be me for 10 years, okay? You want to put this into action. So Atomic Habits, start small, make it easy, put all the shit in your life. Once you start taking things out of your life, you're going to have to replace it with something, or else you're screwed. So for big companies, they're just another seller. I will definitely read Atomic Habits. It's the best book that I've read in a while. And the problem, and I know I said I'll leave you with this, the problem in the beginning of the year is that I removed so many bad habits that I didn't replace it. Okay, so it's like an alcoholic that removes alcohol, but they don't replace it with something. So they need to replace it with reading or journaling or carpentry or something. They need to replace that time that they would normally be drinking, or else they're going to go back to drinking, or else they're going to start going to the bar, partying again. It's the same thing with us, is that if we don't replace the time that we wake up to the time we would normally be waking up, we need to be meditating or journaling or going to the gym or something. We need to replace. So the best way is to remove a bad habit than to actually insert a bad habit. Think about it. If you're eating like shit, eating a salad for lunch is not going to change anything. However, if you say, I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? That's removing bad habits and replacing good habits, okay? All right, so that's it. Any questions? Give a boutique service. God, I'm thirsty. All right, guys, I think that's it. With the habits, you know what it comes down to? Is there's only a certain amount of people that are actually doing this, okay? There's only a certain amount of people that I really, truly look up to. A couple of authors, that's it. I don't look up to Gary Vaynerchuk anymore. I don't look up to Tony Robbins anymore. I don't look up to Brian Tracy or Grant Cardone. I don't look up to any of those guys. And the reason being is that they're not actually doing, maybe a little Gary Vaynerchuk, but the problem is they're not holistic. Gary Vaynerchuk is beating himself to death. Tony Robbins, he's just not relatable, and this is just my personal thoughts. Brian Tracy was like an OG. He was doing everything. He was in shape. He was a sales guy. He was building a company. So he's a guy. Another guy is maybe Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is another one. Obviously David Goggins, because he's living the ethos. That's really what it comes down to, is that, are you the one that's writing a book about it? Are you the college author that's writing about it but not actually dialing in your finances? You're writing about finance, but have you ever actually been a CEO, or I'm sorry, a CFO or an accountant? Do you actually know that? Statistics? or are you just writing about it because other people wrote about it? You know, that's the difference, okay? Living it is everything else, okay? So have an amazing day, guys. Any questions, leave in the comments below. As always, I'll be back probably on Monday.